I wanted to come talk today about bad managers. We all know, and we've probably all in our work world life have had a bad manager. A bad manager is someone who is not supportive, who is not creating an environment where you can succeed, not supportive, not motivating, not allowing you to contribute to the success of the organization, to be your best self. A manager who does not provide proper resources when you're going through life situations. They're not providing you with the information regarding employee benefits such as EAP, Employee Assistance Program, what types of leaves that are available, FMLA, Family Medical Leave, short-term disability, long-term disability, wellness, mental health. Managers are put in place to manage people, sometimes manage a function. But what I wanted to talk about bad managers and the responsibility that's put on managers is in relation to the Tyler Perry situation. And again, this is for educational entertainment purposes only. These are all allegations at this point. But again, from an HR perspective, from a workplace perspective, from my own personal my personal and professional experiences, that's the position that I'm coming from. And I am gearing this towards our young people that perhaps this may be their first time in the workplace. Maybe, you've been in the workplace for a while, but you've never had an encounter with a bad manager. Again, I'm not saying that Mr. Tyler Perry was a bad manager, but let me just say we're talking Tyler Perry the individual, Tyler Perry the studios, which is the corporate entity, his company. Two different situations, two different levels of responsibility. As a manager, as an owner of a company, it is your responsibility to ensure at all times there is a conducive workplace, that your employees want to get up every day and come to work. In the case of Tyler Perry, his employee, Derek Dixon, felt that the environment was so pervasive with harassing behavior that he felt that he had to leave the company. And again, this is all based on what's in his lawsuit. He provided text messages. What I would say to managers: do not put things in text, especially when you're drinking. I think, and again, my professional experiences, because all of this can be retrieved. You can't delete anything nowadays. It's all retrievable. So always remember that anything you put in writing may show up again someday. So I would suggest, emails if possible. I think, generally speaking, people feel more in a more formal fashion if it's in an email, because they, in their minds, are thinking, oh, this may come back to haunt me. But when it's in an email, they think, oh, it's not going to come back to haunt me. It's okay. Be careful of that as a manager, as a leader. If you are, again, in corporate environment, there are different levels of leadership: frontline managers, supervisor, directors, vice presidents, on and on, senior vice presidents, the C-suite. You have to be conscious of the fact that you're always being watched. And again, I've done many workplace investigations of all different types of issues, from the top of the organization to the very bottom. So employees will keep documents. They will keep recordings. You may be videotaped and you may not know it. You may be secretly recorded. Some states, we know that's not legal. You have to have a two-party consent. But always know, and not to make you afraid of being a manager, but there is a responsibility. Just like as a parent, there's a responsibility that you have to set the example for your children. You want them to model the behavior that you're exhibiting. So as a manager, you have to model the behavior. So, my advice is to, and as an employee, follow your company's program, or, whatever the policy is, not program, policy. And of course, that should be in your employee handbook. If it says that you have a workplace grievance, if that usually falls under employee relations, or whatever, however it's set up in your HR is set up in your company. But go to HR, put it on record, even if you're not satisfied. I know a lot of people don't like HR for whatever reason. There's good and bad in every profession. So I will defend my profession, because I worked really hard over many, many years. And I know that there's still some good in HR. There's some good HR departments. There's some good people in HR. And I like to think that I'm one of those people. So again, go to HR, because if you go to EEOC to file a complaint, which is what Mr. Dixon did, the first question will probably be, did you go to your HR department? What is your company's policy on workplace issues? What is your company's harassment policy? Nowadays, if they don't have a harassment policy, they're really out of touch. Also, dating in the workplace. A lot of companies have dating in the workplace policies that forbid dating. We're human. We spend a lot of time at the workplace, so a lot of companies do have policies because it gets sticky, gets messy. It can land the company in a lawsuit. But as a manager, going back to bad managers, you should not be dating your employees. I mean, I know it's human nature. And if you are, you have to be discreet. In my opinion, again, my professional experience, Mr. Tyler Perry was very sloppy, very irresponsible. He put, and again, let's just say this lawsuit's $260 million. It may not, go to court. But what will happen is, because EEOC is involved now, which is the right protocol, by the way, if you have a workplace issue, go through the EEOC. Many times companies and the complainant, which is Mr. Dixon, Mr. Tyler Perry Studios, is the respondent. They will settle quietly. We'll never hear about this again, kind of like the Christian Keys. And he even said in his that Christian Keys reached a settlement. They signed what's an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So this will never be spoken of again. You'll never hear from this gentleman. He went to California. He's going to live his life like it's golden. He may not get $260 million, but he will get something. What I would also say, he filed under something called constructive discharge. What that is when you leave a company voluntarily because the environment was so pervasive. I would not recommend that. Again, I don't know your situation. Again, this is from my professional. I work with a lot of attorneys. I'm not an attorney, but I work with them in the course of my career. They would recommend that you stay, let the company fire you. You can still file an EEOC and work at your company. The two are not exclusive, but keep your documentation. And if you file an EEOC, you're still working there, your manager retaliates, that's another claim. You can go back to EEOC and file a complaint for retaliation. That is a thing. So if they retaliate, you have them on the retaliation, you have them on whatever, the issue is. There's so many different protected classes, you can have multiple complaints within one complaint. So just remember that it's not a one-time, one complaint. It can be multiple complaints within one major complaint. So just remember that. So again, this is Professor BJ. I have over 25 years in HR, certified, have my master's, and I've taught at 2 major universities. So I'm talking from my personal, and I filed an EEOC myself. So I understand this thing takes time. On average, it takes about 2 years for a resolution. So be patient. Understand that in the interim, you still have to pay your bills. So if you file an EEOC, understand, even if you file a lawsuit, as many of you know, if you've had to file any type of lawsuit, criminal, civil, whatever, even a car accident, it's not immediate unless you're very fortunate. Very rarely does it happen overnight. But there are times when, you can come to a quick resolution. In this case, because of the reputational damage that it can cause to Tyler Perry Studios, he has done a lot of good. I will say this is a very divisive topic. I know some people, on both sides. Again, I'm objective. I'm in the middle. I don't know any of these people. I have no skin in the game, so to speak. I'm just saying from my professional experience, this is what I see from the documents that have been provided, text messages, what's written in the complaint. Let this be a lesson learned that you as a manager have a higher responsibility. And what I see in my professional experience, a lot of times employees leave really good jobs, really good companies because of their manager or because of the behavior of their manager. Some people are good at managing a process or be technically proficient, but they don't know how to manage people. I recommend that all managers go through leadership development training, especially if you're new to management. I feel personally that should be a requirement in all companies. All new managers to management should go through leadership development training. Until the next time. If you like what this information, please subscribe. Please follow. Please give me a like. Thank you.